Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show. If you like The Mike Wagner Show and you want to make your own podcast, well, let me tell you about Anchor. First of all, it's free. Secondly, there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. You can also add any song from Spotify directly to your episodes. The possibilities are endless. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you. You can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, many more. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios.
Hi, this is Mia Mosensia, also known as Mia No Time for Love. Check out my latest book, Missing, available in print and ebook formats on Amazon.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. It's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international war-winning author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love will be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews and even endorsed by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forrest Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for Girls Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com and over 30 podcast platforms, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also, Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, Apple Music. Coming soon to Podbean, Buzzsprout, Pandora, and TuneIn. You can check us out at themikewagnershow.com. Make sure you take us with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow The Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com and check out The Mike Wagner Show podcast, T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, and more. Amazon.com. Check out The Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia for great books like Missing, Want Some Wrinkles, also T-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, phone cases, and more. Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia. Check it out today. And don't forget to support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, and the MikeWagnerShow.com with your generous donation. Make sure you do so today. We're here with a terrific gentleman who began a group in New York City in 1956 and one of the few interracial groups at the time named after a popular cocktail. We'll talk more about that. And began with singles like Tell Me Why, Lover Doll, Dance Girl Dance. Also, some of the other classics, and also had a big song out called Pizza Pie, which we'll get a little story on that one. They split in 1963, reunited in 71, and back in 86, and back in 04. And this group had some singles out before sang on with Capitol Records back in 1958. We'll talk about this amazing group. Live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plus Studios in beautiful downtown Los Angeles, the amazing leader of Norman Fox and the Rob Roys with Lover Doll, That's Love, and Have a Little Pizza Pie. Ladies and gentlemen, the very multi-talented Norman Fox of Norman Fox and the Rob Roys. Norman, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Well, here it's afternoon, so I'll say good afternoon. It's nice to meet you, Mike.
Well, and then have a Rob Roy with it as well, too. And
absolutely. Why not? It's getting to that time of day.
It does, yeah. And what inspired you to come up with the name the Rob Roy? It was like your favorite cocktail, or it just sounded really cool?
It wasn't my favorite cocktail. We were kids at the time, but it was a sexy name, and we had originally had a name called the Velvet Tones. And when we went down to the recording studio when we were auditioning, they weren't happy with the name the Velvet Tones. There were too many groups out with the name Tones, the clef tones, the harp tones, and so forth down the line. So they wanted us to change it, and we racked our brains, and I just came up with the Rob Roy's because it was a sexy drink at that time, and I thought it would be a great name. And we submitted it to them. They loved it, and that's how we got it. It stuck.
Huh, that's really interesting. And otherwise, what is your favorite cocktail if it's not Rob Roy?
Well, now that I live in California, I really like tequila. So
Ooh.
I have different kinds of tequila. There are so many different kinds that I really never knew it, but it's just terrific. It's a great drink, and I drink it in a couple of different ways. And that's my favorite drink right now.
Huh, that's really interesting. I'll have to man up and have tequila with you, and I'll make a swear vow to swallow the worm. It's like I never liked the idea, but thanks to you, I'm gonna get inspired to have a tequila with the worm in it, along with the lime. So
Absolutely, and I'll video it so that all your fans can see it.
oh, that'd be so great. I mean, wish I could do that. I'll have to go to Los Angeles in order to do that. But yeah, and of course, one of my favorites, in terms of cocktails back in the day, it's like I enjoyed a Long Island iced tea. And that was a big thing because a friend of mine came from New York and, came to Chicago with his family, and he got me hooked in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Just mixing all the drinks, add a little Coke to it, and I got hooked on it. And there was also screwdrivers my wife used to drink, and I think there was also, whiskey and Coke and a few others. But I mean, gotta say this, I wish I had a Rob Roy right now, and we can talk more as well too. And
Okay.
and you guys began your group in New York City in '56, and you guys were one of the few interracial groups at the time too. So just tell us how you guys first got started and how you guys all came together like that.
Well, we went to high school, and we used to listen to Alan Freed on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
Alan Freed came from Cleveland to New York in the mid 50s or the early 50s, and he had a show called Moondog. And it was the rave of everybody around my school. We started listening to it, and he was on every night from Monday to Friday for about an hour on WINS radio, if I remember correctly. And it was music that I never heard of before. It wasn't a traditional pop music that we used to listen to over the years, like Patti Page and people of that caliber, but K-Star and to name a couple of people. So it was different. It was made up of rhythm and blues. It was made up of a lot of different genres of music, and I just went crazy for it, especially the vocal group areas, where we had groups like the Cadillacs, the Eldorados, and the Cleftones. Those were my favorites, and I listened to it religiously. And so because of that, I wanted to emulate those groups. I loved singing. I had a decent voice. And so in high school, we thought we might be able to get a group together. And so we started interviewing voices and different sounds, and we practiced in the boys' bathroom because there was an echo there.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember, I going to high school myself, and I hear, guys singing and everything else. That's a perfect place. It's like even if you sound like crap, it's like nobody can hear except in the boys' bathroom, maybe just a few, but it's a good place to practice. Yes,
absolutely, and it makes your voice sound better. And when you try to get harmony, and you try to get 2, 3, 4 voices and 5 voices together in that echo in the bathroom, it sounds fantastic. And that's how we started. And we got everybody together, and we didn't look at color. We didn't look at anything. We interviewed the high school was an integrated high school. It was all boys. It didn't have any girls, but it had black, white students. It had Hispanic students. It had Italian. So it was a mix of a lot of different types of communities that came to that high school. And that's how we wound up with the 2 black guys in our group. So we were 3 guys from the neighborhood, and then we interviewed these guys at school, and they happened to be black, and we were trying to emulate the black sounds of the music that we heard on Alan Freed's show. Mm-hmm. So it really worked out well, and that's how we got the group together. They were all from high school.
Wow. That is so amazing. That is just an amazing story. And of course, you guys been doing it for a while too. And also, I was going to find out as well too, before you guys all got together, who are some of your favorite musical influences and who are some of your favorite singers growing up?
Well, I like Tony Bennett very much. And of course, he's still around. He's not too well today, but he actually was my neighbor. And
Really?
he lived in my building in the Riverdale section of the Bronx. He was great, and he had some great hits. And I liked Patti Page, and I liked Frankie Lane. And those are the type of people that I emulated. I loved Frank Sinatra. I loved Bing Crosby, because those are the people that my parents gave me the look into. They influenced me with that kind of music. So there were many, many more, but off the top of my head, those were the few of the people that started me in thinking about a musical career. And then, of course, later on, when I went to Capitol Records, I had a chance to meet a lot of them, and I'll tell you about that. But those were my influences.
Wow, that's amazing. And you said about meeting some of the people at Capitol Records. Who are there some of the people that you met, and who are some that really stood out for you?
I met a lot of great people at Capitol Records. The guy that really stood out the most for me was Nat King Cole.
Oh, really?
We met. I was just a gopher. I had a small job. I didn't have an amazing job. Even though I recorded for Capitol, I actually worked in the studio, which was another segment of what I did. It had nothing to do with my recording for them. And so in my position in working at the studio on 46th Street, I had a chance to meet all of these people that came in and recorded. Nat King Cole impressed me tremendously. I spent a lot of time with him because he was re-recording all his old records from monaural into stereo. And
Wow.
So he was in the studio for at least a month. And we became friendly to a point. And I just respected him so much. And I just loved listening to him record. And to be with him was just great. Well, in addition to Nat, we recorded Patti Page. We recorded Count Basie, Joe Williams, Sarah Vaughan, so many people. Jackie Gleason at one point was in the studio, and he had a record called Music for Lovers Only.
Oh, I remember that. My mom and dad had that, and they would play it. I mean, Jackie Gleason's so amazing.
Now, he was amazing because Jackie didn't read a note of music, and he didn't conduct the orchestra. But he was so talented. He knew the music that he liked, and he brought in his own orchestra conductor, and he would direct it in the control room. But he never played an instrument or anything of that. And he had a #1 album at that time with Music for Lovers Only. He was a great guy, and I liked him very much as well.
Oh my gosh, that's so amazing. And of course, how about Frank Sinatra? He was with Capitol for a little bit too.
Well, Frank Sinatra never recorded in New York. He only recorded at the studio in California. Now, that's that round building, the Capitol building, which is a very, very famous landmark out here. Mm-hmm. I had the opportunity about 2 or 3 years ago to take a tour. I had a friend of mine who was a songwriter and had done many, many conducting jobs at the Capitol studio, and asked me if I would like to see it. And so I had never been there when I worked for Capitol in New York. So I said I would love to. And we took a tour through it. It was just a fabulous tour. And it had the old studio that Frank Sinatra and all of these major leaguers used to record in. And one thing that I didn't know was that under the parking lot was the largest echo chamber in the world. It was built before they built the parking lot. When they built the building, they built the echo chamber underneath the parking lot. And so it was a natural sound. There was no electronics in it. And so we took a tour of that as well. And it was just great being there and seeing all of that wonderful history in that building.
Wow. I wish I was there. And I think that was really smart of Capitol to build it underneath a parking lot. I think that's really an innovative. I love it.
Well, you have to come to California. You come to Los Angeles. I'll make sure that we go there.
You know something too? I've been in California since I was there in 1978. And for some reason, Capitol never crossed my mind. Now you mention it, I'll start making plans right now and head over there. So I will certainly will do that.
Okay.
All right. And also, you also had some hits as well too, like Tell Me Why, That's Love, Lover Doll, Pizza Pie, and more. We'll talk about some of your hits. But first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition rate. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@SonicWebStudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those you love will be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews and even endorsed by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Ford Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for Goes Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com and over 30 podcast platforms. Take us with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com and check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia for great books, merchandise, and more. Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia. Check it out today and support the Mike Wagner Show with your generous donation at the MikeWagnerShow.com. Also on Anchor FM and PayPal. Make sure you do so today. We're here with a terrific gentleman who's the leader of Norman Fox and the Rob Roys. Norman Fox here on the Mike Wagner Show began the group in New York City in 1956. And you also had quite a number of hits at the time. You had Tell Me Why, Lover Doll, That's Love. And you also had a fairly big hit, which is Pizza Pie and Make Me Hungry for One. So tell us about some of the music.
Well, the first record that we made was Tell Me Why. When we rehearsed at the high school, which I told you about, we had one of the guys in the group who knew a guy who owned a record shop down in the Bronx on 143rd Street. And he said that he would speak to him and see if he could get us an interview so that we could maybe cut a record, which is what any of those guys wanted to do in those days. Don't forget, we were all street corner singers. We sang in the bathrooms. We sang on the street corners. We had our audience was made up of a whole bunch of kids who used to gather around on the street corners. And now we wanted to emulate the groups that we loved and the music that we loved. So we tried to see if we could get ourselves together and make a record. We went down to this record shop on 3rd Avenue, and it was so small that I remember we couldn't even get into the place. Half the group was outside because it was a small little local record shop. Mm-hmm. And we got in there and we sang for the guy. He loved the fact that we were a mixed race group. He also loved the harmony that we had, and so he said that he would make a connection for us, and that we would have to come back the following week or 2 weeks. And somebody came up, and of course we did come back 2 weeks from then, and we auditioned for a guy from Backbeat Records, who was a Texas label. Mm-hmm. Backbeat was originally the old Duke organization. It was Duke, Peacock. It was very big, and they had a lot of big stars, mostly black stars, that were on the Chitlin circuit. And so this guy heard us, he liked what he saw, and he wanted to sign us. So we signed a contract with him to cut four records, and we did. And the first one that we did was Tell Me Why, and it was backed on the other side by a song called Audrey. And Tell Me Why was put out. There's a lot of stories involved with the history of what happened there, and it sold very well. And but lo and behold, we never got any money for it, which was a sign of the times. Nobody ever got paid, but I just was very upset that we had a pretty big record. It was nice. It was played on the radio. And incidentally, Alan Freed played it on the radio, which I neglected to tell you, he also lived in my building. So
that's interesting.
I had two famous people living in my building. I didn't know that Alan Freed lived there until one day it was mentioned to me that this is his address. And sure enough, I saw him coming down in the elevator. So I asked him if he'd play the record, and he said he would. He played it a couple of times, and it took off, and we got some nice sales out of it. And the next song we did was the second record that came out was a song called Dance Girl Dance. And we put that out. And again, we didn't get paid for it. So I said, I don't like working and not getting paid. I'm going to drop this record company. And so we got ourselves an agent, and we tried to get rid of the record company. And he told us that he had negotiated a deal, and we left, and we got a deal from Capitol. And we went to Capitol Records, and we recorded at that same studio on 46th Street that I told you about. And the first record that we put out was called Pizza Pie. And the back of Pizza Pie was a song called Dream Girl. And those were the first two songs that we put out. We cut two more, but they were never released. And what happens was when the record was released, 10 days afterwards, Capitol got sued by the guy in Texas. It seems that we were never released from his contract, and that was the end. They pulled it off the market, and they didn't go with it any further. But over the years, Pizza Pie and Dream Girl, with the local fan base and the fan base that I've grown up with and have built all over the world, the biggest song that we have is Dream Girl, and it's followed by Pizza Pie. They're tremendous songs, and so we continue to play them. They continue to play it on YouTube and on all of the platforms, Spotify and everything else that you can name. And so that's where we are with those songs.
That is so amazing. And I'm just sorry what happened with you. And I was surprised Capitol Records end up losing to Backbeat. That's rather surprising. Usually the big boys just take them out. But then you also had you split, you came back, you split in 63, reunited in 71, back in 86, back in 04. And also the fact that you guys seem to just have a love for each other despite all that.
Well, we left the business. In other words, there was no way for us to make a living. And as we grew up, we had to start making a living. I went into the Army after my stint of recording a number of records. And while I was in the Army, my father passed away. And we weren't wealthy. And when I came out, my uncle said to me, listen, you got to go to work and you got to earn some money. You got to help your mom out. And so that's what I did. And I left the business because it was not good to me. And I went into the clothing business, and I stayed in that business most of my life. And I traveled all over the world being in the clothing business, and was quite successful in it, and learned a great deal, traveled to some crazy, crazy places. I was in the Soviet Union when it collapsed. I was in Central America during the left-wing insurgency.
Wow.
I've been to India. I've been to China. I've been to places. These are places that I worked. So I had an exciting life, and I'm not, I'm not upset about it. I don't know what it would have been had I remained in the music business, but I'm retired now and I'm in the music business. I love it.
And of course, I was just going to say you've got a release that you got as well too on your website. But I was going to ask you, you've been in the clothing business. What type? What line were you in clothing? Was it sales, manufacturing, or?
I manufactured clothing, and my customer base were the major national chains. So I started doing business with Walmart when they had 32 stores.
Mm-hmm.
I started doing business with Kmart and Sears and J.C. Penney, and all of those major people. And the kind of quantities that I did were enormous quantities because of that. Of course, the risk was great, but it was enormous and it was very exciting. It gave me the opportunity to really travel all over the world and to live and work in areas that I probably never would have had the opportunity to go to.
Oh my God, that's so amazing. I would love to do that. And maybe a few could recognize you from, singing about Pizza Pie and Dream Girl and all that. So, sometimes having a recognition is good. And there are days it's like, well, I've done that. Now I'm doing this. So we've had our share of that too. So,
well, it's very interesting. As a matter of fact, I neglected to tell you in my days at Capitol Records, I was in the studio when Ray Charles recorded Georgia on My Mind.
Oh, really? My gosh, I love Ray Charles. That's a classic.
And it was the first record that he made when he when he left Atlantic and he went to ABC Paramount.
Mm-hmm.
And they made an album. It was called The Genius Hits the Road. And it's songs from all the different states, the 48 states. I'm Alabama bound, all these other things that relate to the states. And they held the album for 9 months. They didn't release, and I loved Georgia on My Mind. I was going out of my mind. I didn't know when they were going to release it. And then all of a sudden they did, and the thing shot to #1 overnight and became one of the biggest songs in history.
Oh my gosh, that's so fascinating. And I think I remember watching a documentary about Ray Charles. That was the one with Jamie Foxx. I think it was in the 90s or 2000.
Right.
And that was just an amazing story. And what's so amazing about Ray Charles was that, he was black and he was also blind too. It had such a unique talent, but he also was the first to say, hey, I'm going to own these recordings, not you guys. And he actually fought tooth and nail, I think was either Atlantic or ABC Paramount. He said that if I were to stay with you guys, I insist on having my own recordings. And he won too. And that was like a huge landmark where all the artists suddenly started owning their own recordings instead of like, say Capitol, ABC, or Warner Brothers, or anybody like that owning their recordings. He went out and said, I'm going to own my own recordings. And he fought tooth and nail. And that was a game changer for the industry.
Ray was an amazing guy, very, very bright, and a fantastic, fantastic musician. And it was wonderful to record him and wonderful to be in his company and to see this kind of a genius work. Another guy that's a genius that we recorded, I don't remember whether you know the comedy album that Mel Brooks made, The 2,000-Year-Old Man.
Oh, Mel Brooks, you touched upon one of my favorite comedians. He is my inspiration when it comes to comedy. 2,000-Year-Old Man. Oh my goodness. It is nothing but a flashback you brought back. Mel Brooks. Oh my goodness. Woo.
Well, Mel came into the studio and he recorded this thing with Carl Reiner. And they didn't have enough people to fill a studio audience. So I went and brought in all my friends to fill the audience, and they had to be there because this was a comedy album. It was done spontaneously. It was not rehearsed. So there were hours and hours and hours of just off the cuff comedy that these two guys would do. It was just one of the most thrilling experiences to meet these guys and to be in that studio with this record at that period of time.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I'm ready to play the 2,000-Year-Old Man after I get off with you. And now it's like you mentioned, it's like I'm about to pull all the Mel Brooks movies online and go on a binge watch, starting with the 2,000-Year-Old Man, Blazing Saddles and all that. Right. Oh my goodness, what a genius.
What a genius. He was great. He's great.
And of course, you also have your music making a comeback as well too. We'll talk about your CD that you got on your website as well. We'll talk about that in just a minute. You listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all your needs. Also brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia of Missing, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. We'll be back with amazing Norman Fox of Norman Fox and Rob Royce after this time out.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. It talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mia Molson-Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamotionzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Hey, this is Ray Powers, and boy, are you in luck. Right place, right time. Tuned in to the Mike Wagner Show. You heard me.
We're back with Norman Fox of Norman Fox and Rob Royce here on the Mike Wagner Show, and it's just great to sit down and talk to an amazing guy who started the group in 1956 and had a few hits as well too, including some with Capitol and working with Capitol. And you also got your compilation now too on your website. It's called Norman Fox and Rob Royce Classic Collectibles, and tell us more about that.
Well, it's made up of all of the songs that we've done and all of the songs that we've liked over the years that were some of our favorites. And I think that your audience will like it. And they can come to my website and they can buy it. I'll be happy to send them the CD, or they can buy it individually on the thing. And they can go to iTunes, they can go to Spotify, they can buy any of these things at that point. But the thing that's great is that we've put a YouTube channel up. And we're getting such phenomenal play and such phenomenal reception to our YouTube channel that if your friends go to the page, then I would really like it if they would subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can find it on YouTube, and it's just fabulous. And you can see all of the songs that we have both on the CD. You can buy the CD. We also have a T-shirt that I made up that is it's like a composite of the old rock and roll groups, but it's in abstract, and it's a beautiful shirt. It's black, and it's got all of these things. And I think, I get a lot of orders on it, and people would like it. I used to sell it at my shows, but of course, during COVID, we haven't done too many shows. Mm-hmm. I'm doing a show in April in New York. It'll be my first show in a long, long time. So hopefully we'll get back to normal and be able to see our fans in person again.
Oh, that's going to be so amazing as well, too. And where can we find Classic Collectibles? Where can we find all your music, your merchandise, and more, Norman?
It's on my website. It's called NormanFoxandTheRobRoyce.com.
We certainly will check that out. Once again, we're with Norman Fox of Norman Fox and Rob Royce here on the Mike Wagner Show. Just a few more minutes. We'd love to have you back. And what else can we expect from you in 2022 and beyond?
I keep writing because this is my passion now. So I'm writing new music. I just put out a song that was based on Dream Girl that has the same chords and the same compilation. And that's the song that's really people seem to love it. It's called the Anniversary Song. I'll send it to you in an MP3 so that if you like it, you can play it. And I'm writing new music about a lot of different things that I feel that I've looked back on over my life, and that's where my heart is, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. It's just it's wonderful to be able to perform and to be in contact with all my fans, and that's what I'm doing.
Oh, I'm so looking forward to it. It's so amazing, Norman, what you're doing. It's so fantastic. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
My biggest influence, really, I have to think about. I would say that my biggest influence was Nat King Cole. I loved the way that Nat wore his fame. He was he was comfortable around people. He was a major, major star, and he wore it beautifully and comfortably. And I would say if I were to emulate anybody, that's the guy that I would like to emulate.
He's certainly one of the best, and I love his music as well, too. Certainly one of the best. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
That I can give? Well, if they're young people and they're into music, stick with it. Don't give up your music. It is a major, major river of life. So along with everything else that you love, good food, beautiful places to go to and travel, music is what everybody sustains themselves with. And I couldn't encourage people more than if they have any musical ability to stick with it as long as they can.
I love that thing you said about the river of life. I mean, I have to apply it. That is so amazing. I love that analogy, river of life. I'm ready to jump on it too. So,
Okay.
once again, we're with Norman Fox and the Rob Roys here on the Mike Wagner Show. Norman, a very big thank you for your time. You're totally amazing. Looking forward to having you again soon. Make sure you keep us up to date. Keep in touch. We love to have you back on in 2022 and beyond. Once again, tell us about your upcoming projects. What's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase or check out your works?
Okay. I'm starting to perform again, and my first show is in April in Long Island. It's called Doo-Wop Weekend. It's put on by Law Enterprises. I'll be there, and I look forward to seeing anybody who's in the area that would love to come. My website is normanfoxandtherobroys.com. You can contact me on it. You can contact me on Facebook. I'm on YouTube. My channel is Norman Fox channel, or Norman Fox and the Rob Roys. Scroll down, there's plenty of music on it, but the channel itself is great. Please subscribe to my channel, and if you write me, I'll be happy to write you back. Stay in touch. You can buy my CD on my website, normanfoxandtherobroys.com. You can buy the t-shirts on the website. After this, hopefully COVID will open up and we'll be back performing, and I'll be glad to be in contact with you and let you know where we are. It'll be on my website as to where we're performing.
We're certainly looking forward to it, and we'll definitely check it out. Norman, once again, Norman, a very big thank you for your time. You've been totally fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. Make sure you keep us up to date, keep in touch. We'd love to have you back, and look forward to having you again soon. We wish you all the best. You've got a great future ahead of you.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. You know, it talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamosenzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.